This is the BrokenBlade Scrum from G2. As usual, please use the hand raise feature to ask your questions. Alternatively, drop them in the chat function. So we'll start off with Dan Emil.
There we go. Hello, first of all, my heart goes out to you after this series. You were an absolute menace in these games. So I have to ask, do you think that making the decision of going for Baron buried the dream this time?
I don't really. Which Baron?
I believe the game 3 Baron where you guys lost the fight.
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously, in hindsight, it's something that basically what happened was that we thought they had no TPs, and then they had TP, and then we lost the fight because of that. So in hindsight, yeah, it was very bad and troll, and probably wouldn't have done that if he knew the Rumble had no TP. So yeah, it was game losing, right? But these kind of things happen if you mistime stuff and like especially key things. So in hindsight, it was very bad. We thought they had no TPs when we rise ulted on the mid to play before.
Okay, moving on to the next questions from Sons of Chaos.
Thank you very much. I'm Eugenia from Sons of Chaos Latam. I feel so sorry about this loss of G2. And I feels a little bit unlucky to have such difficult opponents during the series stage, but despite of that, what they taking away after this tournament sadly ends for G2?
I mean, my main takeaway is that we were sadly just not good enough to beat these teams. Yeah, our road was not easy. Many people say we were unlucky, but if you want to be the best, we have to beat these teams. Those are the teams that will contest you to be the best, and we just couldn't. And it's very sad because we got close many times, which is even more sad because it was close. I think I would be happier now if we would have gotten stomped these games. So going out like this is definitely sad. It's something that, yeah, probably if we could have a different road, we could have made it further in the tournament. But in the end, if you are not strong enough to beat teams like BLG and HLE, then we don't deserve to be the best. And I think the draw is just a recipe of like the Swiss stage. Some people get lucky, some people get unlucky, but in the end, if you're good, then they will beat luck, and we were not good enough.
Thank you very much for the answer and send you a big hug.
Thank you.
Okay, next question from Quayne, Toy Bow.
Hi, BrokenBlade. First of all, can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm Quan from Thời báo là Esports Việt Nam, and unlucky that G2 was defeated by BLG, and they are LPL top seed and a strong contender for the championship. So I want to ask about the last game, the game three. That Handsome found there was a bug or an error with the Kalista champion during the team fight, which seemed to impact G2 spirits and focus. And how did that moment affect the team? And do you think it had a significant role in the result of the match? Thank you.
Well, initially we thought that there was a bug. So Hans was very sure that there was a bug in the game. So obviously he should pause for it. Like he was very certain. And then in hindsight, he just did not see that he used E on Silas. So yeah, I mean, it did obviously make the game a bit more weird. But the position after the fight, whether it's a pause or not, was very losing because they would have gotten Nash no matter what. And then they would have gotten to go like group up, which we don't really want with Rice. We want to split. and it's almost late game, and Ezreal is very fat at this point in the game. So regardless of the pause or not, I think the game will be very, very hard. It will be very difficult. We would probably be a bit more serious, but I think winning from that position is super difficult. We could have done it. My TP was not great in the end, and then they just ace us. But yeah, I don't think it made a difference.
Okay, thank you for your answer. So good luck in the next year LEC, and I hope to see better G2 in the next world.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm done right here.
Thank you. Next question from Felipe at Maze Esports.
Good afternoon. It's okay to hear me?
Yes.
Oh, sure. I feel sorry for the loss today, and as a Brazilian, it should be nice to see Rodrigo in playoffs. But my two questions are about this Nocturne and Orianna decision from the game one. First of all, why do you guys have chosen it, locking Orianna as a first pick and letting BLG comes back with Skarner and Jax, two strongest picks in this meta? And second, we saw this combo in the matches against 2-1, too. And like today, a lot of commentators here in Brazil and in the American broadcast, they said it hasn't worked, even today or against 2-1. What was the idea behind this combo being chosen 3 times?
We were doing very well with it in practice. I mean, that's the basic TLDR. We were confident that we are going to win the game, even if we play, even after the loss against T1. We still believed it was very, very strong and we should play it again. And in the first game, we played Nocturne Orianna. They built a very, very strong comp against it. They had, as you said, Jax Skarner with a peeling AD carry, which is Kai'Sa, and Alistar, who's probably one of the best champions to negate the fights. So I think they just drafted really, really well into what we wanted to do, and I think that's a big, big reason why we lost the first game. I think in the other games our drafts were much, much stronger. I believe in game 2 and 3, I believe we had the superior drafts.
Yeah, next question from Cloud Sidki.
Hey, BrokenBlade. Sorry about, the loss. I think everyone was cheering for you. I think especially this year, it seemed like very different than previously when G2 or North America would lose. People would be making fun of us, making fun of you guys. This year is probably the first time in a long time where I've seen hundreds of thousands of people like sharing their love and support for you guys. My question was about when you beat TES at MSI, you were saying that what you guys wanted to do is give the West hope. And when you lost to T1 afterwards, you said that you didn't want that to let that hope be crushed, even though what happened happened. Do you have any similar words today after being close, but ultimately not close enough?
I mean, it's a very tough question to answer. Obviously, we did not do better than last year, even though I feel like we were playing much, much better than last year if you compare the games. So I just feel like a bit guilty of not being able to show that. I don't have regrets for this year. I think we truly, every single player gave it their best, and staff member, everyone involved gave their best and all. And I believe we were much, much stronger than last year, but it still wasn't enough to be the best. And that for us, I mean, the best thing we can take from this is motivation to do better next time and not let this victory crush our hopes. If that helps you.
Okay, we're gonna have to make these the last two questions. So we'll go to Ash.
B, with this elimination, I think many people are regarding G2 as a top 8 team. And I know you said that for you, being the best is all that matters. But now 2 years in a row being eliminated in the Swiss stage of Worlds, this potentially is one of the strongest rosters to never make the quarterfinals. So I'm interested to hear your like you equivocating a little bit on or like elaborating a little bit on the idea that you need to be the best and that top 8 doesn't matter if you're eliminated in this way. So I'd love to hear a little more.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think like a a player's dream should be to win worlds, and especially for me as a player who never really like made it out of groups in worlds, this is something very like shattering. Like I'm feeling very bad about this fact because I do believe that every single year I have gotten better in terms of performance at the international stage. But yeah, for me, if you made quarters by beating NA and then just lost to the very next team, for me it wouldn't feel great. I wouldn't feel better about losing in quarters than losing right now because if you're not good enough to beat BLG or HLE, then we're probably not gonna win Worlds. And that is the sad and true fact that occurred in this Worlds. I think we came close, and that is something that people can hold on to. But for me and for us, this is not what we wanted. We wanted to win, and and we did. We got close many times, which is quite sad because it wasn't enough to go further. And for me, it's a bit weird to say losing here or losing in semis or quarters doesn't make a difference because I never made it there. But in my imagination, it wouldn't feel any different because in the end, if my true aspiration is to win worlds, then that is what my attitude has to be and how I have to think, in my opinion.
Thank you.
And final question will go over to Cecilia.
Hello, BB Cecilia for Esports News UK. I wanted to ask you something about the future. Next year in 2025, Riot is going to implement a third international tournament. Now, it's often said that more international tournament means more scrims and more practice for all teams across regions to compete against, other teams from other regions. Do you think that the changes with the international tournament, with the new international tournament, will lead European and Western teams to maybe closing the gap between Eastern teams?
I mean, definitely it will help. I think this is something beautiful, right? Like being able to scrim against the best teams in the world is just always nice. I'm always excited. I think for the last 3 years, we've been winning so many scrims in Europe. And every time we go international, it always comes closer to like a 50% win rate. I mean, this Worlds was kind of like that. And it's yeah, I think it would be great. I don't think just scrimming the teams will didn't necessarily make it better in a way. I think every single player has to put in the work, the extra work, to be better. I think that is a fact because yeah, I mean we have been scrimming against these Eastern teams for since Worlds is there, I believe, at least whenever I was in international tournaments. So I think it depends on each individual player and obviously also the team itself.
Thank you for your time. Good luck for next year.
Thank you.
Okay, so that concludes the scrum of BrokenBlade. Thank you, BB, for joining, and thank you to Press for joining as well. Hello and welcome to the Scrum with Knight from BLG. As usual, Press, please use the hand raise function to ask your questions. Alternatively, you can use the chat function and we will call them out one by one. So we'll go to the chat first and Esports Plus. Oh no, PentaQ, sorry.
想要问现在的选手，你在采访中也说了可以相信 BLG，那在8强战中，队伍会展现出怎样的一个面貌呢
8强，我觉得我们队伍会展现出和瑞士人完全不一样的面貌吧，会展现出就之前联赛的那种实力。
Okay, next question will go over to Quan from Toy Mao.
Hi, Knight. BLG enter World as LPL first seed. but had a very challenging run, finishing the Swiss stage 3-2 and being the last LPL team to qualify the quarterfinals. How would you rate your own performance on the scale from 1 to 10? And what do you think BLG needs to improve heading into the knockout stage? Thank you.
那其实 BLG 是作为1号种子来参与这次的全球总决赛的，但是毫无疑问，你们在瑞士轮当中还是一个比较有挑战性的旅程，然后最后也是以 LPL 最后一位，然后进入到最后8强的争夺当中。所以说，想问一下奈的选手，可能对瑞士轮整体的一个表现，从1到10打分的话，会给怎样的一个评价呢？那来到后面淘汰赛的比赛，有哪些部分又需要继续进步呢？
我觉得瑞士人打分的话，我们可能就最多4到5分吧，因为我们还没有发挥出之前的一半的实力。淘汰赛的话，我觉得我们更多的是需要那种细致的沟通吧，因为我们现在整体是没有什么大问题，但我们就那种沟通还有团建都可以更细节一点。
So I like to rate the overall performance from BLG for the Swiss stage as like 4 to 5. I feels like out of 10. I feels like we didn't manage to perform like half of our normal skills. And maybe for the improvements parts, for some very detailed communication, we need to really work on with us. We feels like we don't have the big issues inside the team, but maybe in terms of the team fights and the macros, there's so many like detailed part we can do better.
Okay. And the last one. I'm sorry if my Chinese is not good, but 祝你跟 BLG 8强加油。谢谢。Thank you. I'm done here.
Okay, moving on
谢
to
谢。
moving on to the next question now in the chat from Davide. How did you react to G2's draft in Game 3?
想问一下奈的选手，看到第3局 G2 的阵容之后，你们的一个反应是怎样的呢？
但是我们其实也在沟通，就也是在想团战怎么打吧。就宝石团战是还是比较克我们的。瑞子这个英雄的话，其实我很早之前就用塞尔斯打瑞子打过很多次，所以我也没有什么担心的。
So after we have seen their draft, we have actually like starting communicating like what we need to do maybe for the team fights. How can we have a good team fights? Because the opponent's Harry combo can be quite strong in all the fights. And for this race mid, I have this kind of matchup so many times with Celas and Raze, so I kind of know how to deal with Raze with my Celas. So I feel okay with that.
Okay, moving on to the next question from Anna at Gosu Gamers. Hi, Knight. Congratulations on the win. How are you guys able to pull through and turn things around from a 1-2 standings to end Swiss strong and eventually qualify for the knockout stages?
恭喜你们获得今天比赛的胜利，也想问一下，你们是怎么样能够从低谷中再次奋战起，从一个1-2的一个开局，到最后，成功以一个非常强势的姿态结束瑞士轮整个的一个旅程，然后在最终进入到8强一个淘汰赛的争夺当中呢？
我觉得我们这个队其实本来就比较慢热嘛，就我们在联赛中也经常输掉第一盘，但是2、3盘会打得更好。就打得这么好，可能是因为每盘成长的经验吧，所以导致一盘比一盘打得更好了一点点。
So I kind of think like BLG is definitely a slow or starting team, and also maybe in the local league in LPL, sometimes we still like getting away the game 1 and be able to come back really strong in game 2 and 3. So it kind of feels like all the matches counts as our growth. There's so many parts that we have learned from. There's so many experience we can help us grow and help us to become even more stronger.
Okay, I believe that was the last question. So yeah, thank you, Knight, for joining us, and thank you to the press for joining us as well.